Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about memory moments. Memory moments are a time when an author stops the current action to put in or insert a memory that the character has, usually of some importance. So you want to think to yourself, why would an author do that and interrupt the story? Must be something important. And so that's why it's one of our signposts. When you're reading and the author interrupts the action to tell you a memory, stop and ask, why might this memory be important? And when you do that, the answers will likely tell you more about the theme, conflict, or it might even foreshadow something that's going to happen next. So when you think about a book and you enter the book in the current action, that means you don't have much information about the character's background. And this is a way the author can give us some more information about the character to help us improve our comprehension. Memory moments are quite easy to be found in the text. Makes it easy. Usually you'll see words like, I remember when, or the first time that happened, I remember. And words along those lines. So this is easy to know when an author has inserted a memory. When you stop and ask why it's important, remember that the character may be trying to solve a problem, and they may be thinking about something in the past that's going to help them in the present. Or they may be thinking about a problem that they've been having, and this will be an insight into the conflict. They may also give you some background information about the relationship they're having currently with the character, which will allow you to make some assessments about the nature in which the relationship is moving. Be careful that it's very tempting when you're reading and you're excited about the book to skip over the memory, thinking that, well, this isn't really going to tell me more about the current story, so I'm just going to ignore it and jump to the next part. But in fact, you want to really stop yourself from doing that, because generally the information, the memory, is very important. If you will look at your handout on page 30, it starts by telling us to stop and notice and think, why might the memory be important? Well, the obvious answer, of course, is that any memory, it is important. But as a reader, you want to go deeper and think, why is the character remembering this? How is this important? If you also look on page 30 and 31, the passage from Hatchet, you'll notice that there's actually several signposts all built into one. It'll be interesting to see if you can spot them. I don't want to tell you right now. But think about, why is Brian remembering what his teacher told him, and how might that play out into the rest of the story? This memory happens on page 45 and 46. It's not that far into the book. And so this will help you understand the rest of the actions that Brian takes in the story. As you read the passage, fill out the blanks there. Spend some time thinking about our anchor question, why might this memory be important to Brian, and write your answer there. On page 32, it does tell us that memory moments are important to the character and for our understanding. So please make sure to read the quick tip and highlight the important parts. Also on page 32, we have an entry, a passage from The Outsiders, another famous middle school book that many students read. And there too are more than one signpost. So I'd like for you to read that and think about all of the signposts and fill out the fill out your answer to the anchor question, why might this memory be important, on that spot. Another thing to think about is, boys and girls, it's not so important that you be able to identify which signpost it is every time. What's more important is that you recognize that that particular passage or that particular page is something really important, and that you stop and think about it. Whether you think it's a tough question, or you think it's the words of the wiser, or you think it's a memory moment, really doesn't much matter, as much as knowing that you need to stop and really give it some thought, because it's going to help you with your comprehension. On the last page, on page 33, I would also like for you to highlight the box there. It doesn't say quick tip, but it is information about how you want to go about reading. It's true, you might not want to read the whole book, a 200-page book, thinking about every other sentence in this way, but you do want to recognize that there are places in the book that will require you to slow down and read carefully. And on the last quick tip on page 33 at the bottom, it does give you some additional language. I remember, it came back to me, I recalled, I thought back to, etc. All of that kind of language is going to give us memory moments when you're reading and the author interrupts action to tell you a memory. Stop and ask yourself, why might this memory be important? Because it will help you with theme, conflict, and possibly even foreshadowing. Happy reading, and look out for memory moments.